It is time. We are going to react to open beta, the Bazaar. We don't have patch notes, but we have Reynad reading the patch notes to us, which apparently is how we do things nowadays. So what does open beta mean? So it is not the official launch. I don't think they're like launching heroes or whatever, but they are releasing like some new features is my understanding. Just the game being playable for free is a really big deal because they didn't actually announce their timeline after they altered it around the holiday season in December. So a lot of people were like expecting to play for free come December and then didn't, but then they didn't know when they would play. So a lot of people were kind of stuck in this limbo that really wanted to play Bazaar. Well, now those people are going to make it so we can't play tomorrow because on release they're just going to screw up the servers. Those freeloaders, man. What the hell? All right. It's got to we got to close the gates, make it paid again. Anyway, welcome to Bazaar, guys. Let's see what the new patch brings. Bazaar is one of those games where they can change a few things pretty slightly and it could have a big impact. However, their patches that are every 2 weeks have not changed things slightly. They've changed things a lot, so we've had very big impacts. So I'm expecting a pretty big patch, even though it's only 18-minute video. There's probably not that many things changed, but let's see. Oh, they got their own music.
Welcome to another patch notes video for the Bazaar. Tomorrow, the Bazaar is going free to play. And this is a huge milestone for us as a studio. There's going to be a lot changing in the game, and I wanted to talk about some of what's changing today and why. So let's jump into it. The usual patch notes review. So, right off the bat, one of the biggest new features
This positioning is much better.
coming in is the prize pass. Now, the prize pass is a rewards track.
Oh my god, they're gonna charge us money? Oh, bro.
That you'll be making progress on in normal and ranked play. So in normal
And normal? How am I supposed to flex my eliteness?
play, you won't just be only getting stuff if you get 10 wins down. Now you'll always be making progress along this prize pass. It has a lot of awesome rewards, collectibles, and even some new content inside of it. And ranked tickets are available through this prize pass inside of the track. Let's talk about the expansions. These are pretty cool. We wanted ways to build on existing heroes over time as the game develops. And so the base card set for a hero is 100 cards. And
I think it's very slightly more than 100 cards. The heroes have like 102 or something like that.
we want to add 10 card expansions to that once in a while. Those expansions are mostly going to be coming through the prize pass the first month that they're...
Whoa. 10-second cooldown, poison 4, burn 4, freeze 1 medium or small, +1 multicast for each other aquatic item you have. So you can have 8 other aquatic items. Which one is he hovering? That's the depth charge? Okay. Oh, it only has 1 ammo. Oh. Okay, so probably you'll need a reload at the very least. Because if you don't use a reload, you have to use like port, which is like even worse. Maybe like really late, you can just get like 4 or 5 ammo on it and it's fine. No ammo, it has 1 ammo. So when something with multicast goes off, it doesn't matter how many times it multis, it only uses 1 ammo for the instance of firing all the multicasts. So if this is multicast 8, it'll still only use 1 ammo when it goes off. So you don't really need that much ammo, but typically in the later stages of the game, you're going to be expected to have fairly low cooldown items. So maybe you can get this down to like 7 seconds. So if it's 7 seconds, you probably want like 4 or 5 ammo. So to get from 1 to 4 to 5 might not be the easiest thing. So yeah, it's going to be a bit of a balance. Most likely, seeing that it's silver, probably it means that it starts at silver. You're going to want to keep the, I forget what it's called, but the small item that reloads, the ammo pouch. So you're going to have that, this, and the most amount of aquatic items you can run would be 7 small ones because the board is 10. So this will be a 7 multicast. At 7 multicast, this is 28 burn and poison. The freeze doesn't really matter because the cooldown's so long. Let's just ignore the freeze. So 28 with a 10-second cooldown. How does that compare to like catfish? This catfish 2.5 times faster. So it'd kind of be like a catfish starting at like 12 poison and burn, but a catfish is small, so it'd be kind of like catfish having 6 poison and burn. Honestly, I thought it looked super broken, but now that I kind of compare it to existing items, it's not that broken. It's just kind of good. I guess one thing it does is it satisfies 3 requirements in 2 slots for the weather glass, and especially the freeze requirement is kind of hard to hit. So it's probably mostly a buff to weather glass builds.
Those expansions are mostly going to be coming through the prize pass the first month.
Well, that just sucks. I mean, at least with the items we have now, the aquatic tag is not that valuable, but I mean, maybe they're going to give us more stuff.
That they're introduced. And after the first month, when the prize pass rotates to the next season, these expansions will no longer be available because that prize pass rotated out. But you
won't be available. So people will have like different item pools based on how many prize passes they get. I guess I'll explain that in a second. Okay, so what's this? So this is a pig item. You can see it's the hero item, kind of the icon there. Snowmobile. It's got kind of like a BMW / Camaro combo grill happening. So it's a vehicle. So vehicles, they're pretty bad, but the skills for vehicles are super OP. With that said, Pig does not have access to vehicle skills. I believe vehicle skills are only Vanessa and Dooley. So this item existing might now give Pig vehicle skills. That might be a system change. Or he might not, and that's probably not good. All right, let's see. So when this gains haste or when you freeze, charge this 2 seconds, and it has kind of like a self-scaler. And that's pretty good. That's pretty good. When this gains haste or when you freeze, charge 2. This gains haste. Now, actually, no, it's kind of hard to haste or freeze. I think it's pretty good in the mid-game because you can run this and a bunch of survivability stuff. It's kind of like golf club level. Yeah, never mind. It's not very good. But if you had like a metronome and a cloak or something, it could go pretty well. Honestly, it's hard to see this better than Atlatl. Yeah, maybe they're nerfing Atlatl.
We'll be able to buy them with gems in the game directly at any time after that point. So basically getting the prize pass is a way to play with these expansions a little early. Anyone can get them for 999 gems is what we're pricing them at right now currently. Once they rotate out is the plan. So that's the current plan. Again, all of this is subject.
I'm gonna rewind. Aurora Dome. When any item gains freeze, your shield items get plus 10 shield for the fight. That's pretty cool, actually. What do they cost? Do you just have to pay like dollars?
So the base card set for hero is 100 cards, and we want to add 10 card expansions to that once in a while.
Okay.
Those expansions are mostly going to be coming through the prize pass the first month that they're introduced.
Oh,
and after the first month,
part of the battle pass. I see.
When the prize pass rotates to the next season, these expansions will no longer be available because that prize pass rotated out. But you will be able to buy them with gems in the game directly at any time after that point. So,
okay, honestly, that's pretty good. They're gonna have like a battle pass style system. And the battle pass is what gives you the item expansion. They call them cards, but the Bazaar doesn't have cards. What cards? What are those? So basically, you get the battle pass. You unlock kind of like the item extensions. And then after that season is over, you can get those item extensions for like the crystals. Okay. It's pay to win. I mean, it depends what the battle pass costs. I mean, it's a free game as of tomorrow. I mean, I'm okay with that. Obviously, people are going to have their own opinions or whatever, but as of tomorrow, it's going to be a free game, right? I don't know what a battle pass is going to cost, and I know I do pretty well in the Bazaar, but I do a lot of stupid stuff, and I have a large abundance of like their currency just by playing. Like, I don't know how much I have. at like 25,000 or something, and I still have to open like 140 chests, which has a bunch in there. And that's just because I play a lot and I do pretty well. And sure, not everyone can do pretty well, but you get a free rank ticket every single day, and you'll still earn some rank tickets. So there's going to be a lot of people that just don't play ranked that much, but they do their free run, and they do kind of like whenever they get 10 in normal, they're going to do a run. So everyone, if you're going to be smart about it, everyone is going to accumulate the premium currency by playing. It'll just take longer if you're not very good. But yeah, ultimately the system is, if you want the stuff right away, you have to get the battle pass. I don't know what it's going to cost, but one after, you can get like the cards in it for the in-game currency. That's pretty much what he said. You have 10k gems using only tickets. There you go.
So basically getting the prize pass is a way to play with these expansions a little early. Anyone can get them for 999 gems is what we're pricing them at right now. Currently, once they rotate out, is the plan. So that's the current.
Oh, everyone gets the battle pass. You only pay for bonus XP. Well, maybe he'll talk about that. I'm not sure about that. Maybe.
Current plan, again, all this is subject to change. Open beta is still a beta, big reminder. But we think this will make the free-to-play experience a lot better. We think that releasing a couple expansions into the game for Vanessa and Pygmalion is a great start to our regular expansion releases. We think this will be a fun way to introduce new cards to the game. And yeah, I hope you guys like the work
it's on
we
the
put
screen.
into it. So.
Okay, let's see. Prize Pass. Earn XP towards levels in the Prime Pass versus challenges and play in both normal and ranked. Ranked tickets available on all free levels. New Mysteries of the Deep available for Vanessa in the Prize Pass. So the subscription gives you bonus XP, bonus chests, and monthly exclusive cosmetics. Oh, everyone just gets the cards for free. Oh, you guys are mad about nothing. Wait, if everyone gets the cards for free... Man, if I was running the Bazaar, I wouldn't even done that. You guys are complaining about that? Oh man, you guys need to relax. If everyone gets the actual content for free, that's insane.
Hopefully, that's some exciting stuff. So getting the premium prize pass will essentially let you play with these expansions a little earlier. All right.
So getting the premium lets you play with these expansions a little earlier. It says the subscription gives you bonus XP. So I think he's just talking about that. I think he's saying if you buy the subscription, you advance in the pass faster. I think that's what he says.
Subscriptions. This is another monetization feature that's coming in. So you can subscribe. This is separate from the battle pass.
Oh.
If you're subscribed to the Bazaar, you get bonus XP for the prize pass. You get double the amount of chests from ranked when you win. So when you've seen those purple ephemeral chests at the end of a run, that's what those are for. They're a placeholder for the subscription system.
Oh, I see.
So if you're subscribed, you also get the purple chests, basically. And yeah, monthly exclusive cosmetics. The first of which is going to be an incredible dually board. It's not always going to be a game board. This is kind of like a first time, just because we're just launching the subscription. We wanted an exciting reward there. I believe you get the dually board for signing up. Correct me if I'm wrong there, somebody. We'll see. But yeah, I think the subscription will provide very good value. I think especially if you play the game a lot, it's very much going to be worth the money. So yeah, hopefully you guys like this direction for monetizing the game. We think it's not pay to win, but it does give us a vehicle for introducing new content regularly. And yeah, it should be fun to play with new cards very often because we are trying to have a very fast seasonal cadence soon after this. So
yeah, I'm just not super clear on this stuff. Maybe we'll get some clarity in the coming minutes. Maybe we'll even have as part of the discussion here. But even if I'm assuming the worst for the prize pass, honestly, I think this is very decent. I pretty much expected something like that. I'll just put it in a different way. I think if Blizzard released this, they would have... Bro, the Diablo 4 expansion was like... It's like $80 for me. So yeah, I think this is very fair, in my opinion. But obviously, I really enjoy the game. I play a lot of it. So I'm biased to that extent. But yeah, honestly, I expected with the game being free that they would be more pushing pay elements. I think this is very fair, but sure, not everyone's going to share that opinion, of course.
Let's get into the general updates. So, start of run updates. We are making changes to the kit system. We wanted to test kits for quite a while. I'm glad we got it in for a patch. It had a lot of pros and cons. The pros were that the early game played out differently, like it introduced more variance in how the early game plays, which is great. That's what we're hoping it would do. There's a lot of ways to do kits. There's a lot of ways to do them. And the question is not just what's the best way, but like whether to do them. The game works just fine without any start of run sequence. And arguably that's the best start, is just hour one is a normal hour. There is no start of run anything. And it's possible that's the best route. We're going to try something kind of similar to kits, but different this time around. We had talked about doing more curated kits where
just so you guys know, I really like the kits. They're like super imbalanced, and sometimes you get completely dunked day one. And probably for non-ranked play, they're not very good because you like reset a run if you get a bad starting kit, right? But in ranked, where you don't reset runs, you just kind of have to make it work. And the start of run is very different because of the kit. I really like the kits. I think they're great. What he's talking about is like they've always had like a start of run, and it's usually been too much power. I think that's what he's trying to say. Like in the original release of the Bazaar, they had like an item and a skill, and the skills were like your leftmost item gets, was it 6 or like 8 burn, which is like a mental amount. But like those were the bronze skills. It's just like really hard to like give you a starting point to your run that isn't like completely navigating you like forcefully. And kits are kind of in between. A lot of the time they wouldn't push you towards a build, and sometimes they would, and sometimes they'd be really good, and sometimes they'd be pretty crap. So that's why I kind of liked kits. I think they actually accomplished their goals pretty well, if not for the randomness. But like if we take a look at the patch before the kits, every single day one was exactly the same. You go like 2 experience, and like dually was OP, right? So like that wasn't like the randomness is pretty good. If anything, they should maybe make your day one encounter kind of the practice round, so a win or a loss doesn't count. I don't know. Maybe that. I basically like the starting of the run variance. I like that.
Where we would define certain loadouts. And first of all, it's a huge cross product. We would have to do that on an ongoing basis for a bunch of heroes. We'd have to keep making new kits and manually defining what items hand by hand are in each kit.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Manually balance all of them. It would be entirely unscalable to do kits that way. And so we are instead going to try this system for this patch where we have these 3 options that you always have. The 3 options are always the same at the start of a run.
So they're always the same, fixed options.
Meant to be a gradient of risk. So there's 3 options, and some are riskier than others. So the default or the least risky option will be a big pile of gold and some income. And then the other 2 options will give you an enchanted item or a gold tier skill, depending on which one you pick. So one of these will end up being the best and most commonly chosen one, but
for sure
we can dial these in and make them close in power level to one another the way that they are. And there's the least risky, medium risky, and most risky option now for, depending on the type of player you are. Or actually, I did that out of order. The enchanted item would be the riskiest probably. But
I mean, it depends on the hero. Like Pygmalion has some absolute garbage tier skills. Choice of 3 gold skills. It might be like when you heal, one item gets 5 crit. Start of day +1 value on your items. And then it can be like, if you have like 7 items, you get like an attack buff with weapons. Like those could be your options. Just like, great, I get nothing. And like, you might think I'm just, making up something. No, like Pygmalion's skills are across the board trash. He's got a few good ones. Like I don't even go for skills when I play Pygmalion. 12 gold, 3 income is pretty good. Choice of 3 enchanted small bronze tier items and 4 gold. The issue with enchanted items is that a lot of items are not strong enough to build around. Like a really good enchanted item at the start is if you beat the Viper and you get the sword with poison on it, right? The Fang poison on it. And that's actually a pretty good item with a pretty good enchant. But you like almost never use that past like day 6 or 7, right? So that's like a decent item with a good enchant. I feel like with this system, you pretty much weigh expected value. The expected value is going to be different based on the hero, but I think there is going to be one correct option. I feel like, I don't know what the correct option is, but I feel like after I play a while, I will know what it is. And that's the one that I'm going to start every single run with. And choice of 3 gold skills, that's pretty interesting because you make a build around the skills. Choice of 3 enchanted items, I hope this is the best one. I hope this is the best. Because this is like a lot of cool stuff that can happen. A lot of variance between the runs. But like 12 gold and 3 income, if that's the best option on average, that would be really lame. Right? Like it doesn't give you anything. It's just gold. So that's you know what? I'm gonna send them that feedback. So yeah, my only feedback is I hope this is not the best one because people will pick the best one in every run, and if this is the best one, the start of run just be kind of boring.
But the idea is it's more uniform than what we had before. It's going to be more consistent, like the power level of your starting kit. It's not going to be a ton of extra design work to manually curate hundreds of kits this way. But we do think it will cater to different types of players looking for a different experience. Sometimes you want to roll the enchanted item and try to get lucky early on. Sometimes you just want to play it safe, take the money, and have most flexibility going into your run. So we're going to try this out. Again, start of run is still very much something we're looking at and developing, but we're learning a lot by trying new things. So thank you for the feedback on kits.
I know not everyone will agree, but I think their progress of trying different things in your start of run, I think it's actually been quite good. I think people will disagree because when it first launched, it was item plus skill. And I think if you only play Bazaar like 100 hours, you'll probably like that a lot. But when you play Bazaar like 1,000 hours, I think you start to not like that very much because it's like the number of skills you could get was actually quite small, and the skills often absolutely forced you into a build, and I did not like that. I like that when I'm first like discovering the game and playing those builds for the first time, but I did not like that once I pretty much knew what they all were and I knew the good ones and the bad ones. It just kind of became systemic at that point.
And start of run in general. So let's see, we got some enchantments cleaned up as always. And this is one little bullet point, but it's a big deal.
The bonking.
The cooldown of everything has been increased by 1 second.
Bonk for everyone.
He's tired of everyone farming him for his sweet loot. He has decided to bonk the entirety of the Bazaar. I think this is a change with a lot of implications. I think they're good implications. I think they're good consequences. We've always wanted to slow the game down. This will give us more room to play with cooldowns.
And this is a dually nerf. When you increase cooldowns, it's not equal for everyone. It's based on how much synergy you have between your items working with each other. Pig usually has low synergy. Not always, but usually has low synergy. Vanessa has pretty good synergy, but sometimes little synergy. And Dooley usually relies on synergy. Now, if Dooley has these starting options, and they're the same, and he also gets the core on top of that, that's probably their equalizer. Because Dooley is disproportionately affected by this change.
This will hurt fast items more than it hurts slow items, which is definitely a healthy shift for the game.
Yep.
Fast items are good anyway, of course, and so anything that sort of helps make slower things more viable is something we're inclined to do. This has played pretty well so far. It has so many implications, like the power level of CC is lower, any duration based effect is slightly weaker. Uh,
He's right, but they're still really good. Like if Dooley gets plus 1 second on all his items and you're also slowing them, that's plus 2 seconds on all his items, right? So to say that it kind of diminishes CC a little bit, again, it kind of ties into the synergy.
Bonk itself is weaker when everything is bonked, for example.
Yeah, he's right,
overall,
but super slightly.
This should help keep items like double barrel more in check. We still want that to be one of the fastest, most powerful early game options, but
no, we don't.
A 3-second item going to 4 seconds is a much bigger hit than a 7-second item going to 8 seconds. So a lot of implications from this change. We think it's a healthy one. Hopefully it slows down the game.
I'm going to counterpoint. If double barrel is going to 4 seconds, it's still by an enormous margin the best item in the game. I was able to get a sub 2 second double barrel with the skill that increases the cooldown of the weapon by 50%. And if you have haste and you don't run into slow, or you just kill them too fast and you avoid the slow that way, you only need to get to 2 second cooldown, because at 2 second cooldown with haste, it goes off at the maximum activation rate of once per 1 second. So a 4 second starting double barrel can still definitely go to 2 seconds. You can still activate haste on it, and that makes it pretty much twice as good as any other weapon.
Game in a good way, but there's a lot shaking up this patch, so we'll see how it plays and go from there. Let's go into encounter updates. So Form, a lot of you guys have never even seen this guy. I think you can only portal into him right now. We're waiting on some tech. But he lets you upgrade your weapons. Now he does it a little differently. B1 and B2 doesn't upgrade everything anymore. It's just a bronze Forja that spawns day 1 to 5.
No longer has an upgrade all option. Pedestal encounter that upgrades a bronze item of your choice. But how will I crush the noobs now?
Vanessa updates. All right. Double barrel. Slight nerf to damage. We've gone back and forth on these nerfs. I think the cooldown change will be the bigger impact here.
Nah.
Ice Spit getting a bit of a buff.
Guys, double barrel still... This is an insane item. There's 5 damage off it. Nah. Double barrel is going to be absolutely crazy.
Port enchantments getting fixed. Ramrod's not going to be reloading as much anymore.
Oh.
And let's get to Shipwreck here.
Oh, that's the nerf. So yeah, if you speed up your double barrel too much, Ramrod will not keep up with a reload. That's the nerf. Okay, I take it back. That's going to be good enough. Yeah. Powderhorn. Yeah, Powderhorn sucks. Ramrod is much better because it gives crit, and because it's medium, it's not affected by as much crowd control, because stuff like freeze has been changed to be size specific. So a small item is freezed way more than a medium item in the later game. And you don't get the crit, and the crit's very impactful. You're talking about playing a build where you want to kill the opponent right away.
So Shipwreck is one of the most powerful payoffs in the game, just giving a whole class of items multicast. And we've liked how this class of items plays, but Shipwreck and Robotics Factory, which does the same thing for friends, only shows up diamond tier.
Yeah, they're too rare.
Since we upshifted the rarity of it. And so basically these items aren't showing up very often, and that might just have to be the nature of this type of effect. Like, it's hard to scale this kind of effect. You know, we're never going to do 2 multicast.
If you're not familiar, they did do 2 multicast, and yes, it was pretty broken.
And so what we're trying to do, the reason for this change, is to make Shipwreck gold tier. And we want to try the same thing for Robotics Factory and Bunker, which we'll get to later. But the idea is we want to try this multicast effect showing up at gold tier. We added this crit chance effect to Shipwreck, so now there's something to scale between upgrades. We'll see if that ends up being the right direction. It's a lot cleaner at Diamond only with 1 line of text, but...
So, I mean, I'm going to go ahead and say it. The difference between Diamond and Gold is gold you can get on day 5, and diamond you can get on day 9. I think they maybe change it to day 8, but it's still insanely rare. Even when you can get diamond items, until the really late days, they're still rarer than gold items. So this change makes it so something like shipwreck is like way more common. Like way more common. Think like dam. Think of how many runs you see dam when you're playing Vanessa. Like half of them. And then with Vanessa, you don't even go to vendors that much, right? So it's a pretty big deal. Also, the old diamond shipwreck, which wasn't bad, it just wasn't good enough in a lot of builds, but it wasn't bad. It was aquatic multicast 1, but it didn't have the crit. So now we have this thing that's like 5 times more common. You can get it much earlier and is better at gold than it was at diamond. I think we're going to see lots of aquatic builds and lots of friend builds next patch.
This lets it show up way more often because now shipwreck
way more
will show up at gold. And hopefully that's not meta breaking. Hopefully that's just one powerful, interesting build around item showing up a lot more often. So,
Seaweed is the broken item probably.
Silencer had its obsidian enchantment changed as well. So Pygmalion updates. Outlawed. So since we nerfed the cooldown of everything,
Wait, Silencer made it into a weapon so it broke its own effect? Dude, they should leave that in. Let them pay for putting it in the randomizer sometimes. Make them pay.
The Outlawed is a very strong item. It can still get to 1 second cooldown, especially after we hit everything. This item was strong already, but it got stronger when you bonk everything.
Yeah.
And so we're hitting it a little bit here.
Good change.
Beast of Burden's coming back. He's going to be having types of items you have. We're pretty happy with how he played last time around. A little too strong, but we think this design's cleaner. So hopefully this plays.
This has the types of items you have. Does that count your stash?
The way we want without being too out of line early game. We'll keep an eye on it though. Sharing types is definitely powerful.
Does it count?
Bushel, some number changes. Ice Club, some number changes. Ledger got a redesign, or Deed got a redesign. We're renaming Deed to Ledger.
So they're nerfing the Giga Spam Ice Club. Basically, a diamond, it gains more damage instead of double charge. Does not count stash. Why would you do this to the poor llama? He just wants to be played, man. That's tough. You'd have to run a lot of different types on small items. It might be doable.
Sure. And when you sell 10 items, it's going to grow the value of adjacent
It's literally
things.
the Beast of Burden.
Pig has a lot of items that care about their own value, but there weren't as many items that affected item value as we wanted. Like there's rewards card, and there's things that like temporarily affect it, like loop, or like through an aura, but we haven't had like recurring value.
So he's talking about the deed, the thing that matched your property. So it doesn't do that anymore. When you sell 10 items, adjacent items gain value. This is kind of a lot. The difference is that, oh man, that's going to be a pretty big truffles buff. Because you put your fixer on one side, the truffles on the other, and then you go to like the gumball events, and then you buff them both, and then you cash it in to stack it on one, right? I mean, I don't know if that's better on average than just having a high tier rewards card. So I don't know. I like the change though.
Growth on an item outside of like rewards card and a couple other examples. So Deed is going to play that role. We're going to try it out.
Oh, truffles is neutral.
As Ledger and see how this plays. But it should be healthier than selling for 300 gold or having the word double on it, which is very dangerous.
300. What kind of amateur? Were you guys selling at 300? No, dude. You got to hodl for at least 600.
So Dooley, I mentioned how we bonked everything. Dooley got bonked last patch, and the patch before that quite a bit.
He's not getting
bonked. So a lot of his items that were already hit with cooldown nerfs are being omitted from this bonking. So like I think like Pulse Rifle and Aiden and all of that, they're not being like re-bonked.
Oh my
I think those
god!
changes were a symptom
Aiden,
of us
our
needing
god.
bonk everything sooner. Anyway, getting into Dooley. Bunker is now going to be a shipwreck for shield items, and we're keeping the damage reduction effect on it on top of that. It's it's a very strong.
Jesus
it's like way stronger than it used to do. We'll see. It shows up at gold tier as well, so we'll see how that plays. Isochoric Freezer, it's going to be a 5-second cooldown, targeting things with 5-second cooldown or less now. It used to be 4 and 4. That's the only real change. It used to start at bronze as well. Now it starts at silver, so it's not going to be freezing for as much either. We might have nerfed this too hard. We'll see.
They've definitely not nerfed this too hard. Unless they are messing with fiber optics. The idea is you'd play drill or some absurdly fast item, and then you would fiber optics juice the ISO freezer, and then the ISO freezer would freeze like 2 to 4 items. That was pretty much every pig player, and a pretty large number of Vanessas too.
I hope it's still viable. We'll give it a shot. Nanobots enchantments are working now. Robotic Factory also downshifted to gold tier and also giving crit chance to friends. So hopefully these changes play well. There's going to be a lot.
So here's the thing. A lot of the really good friends are shield items. Like Chris Army Knife, the dude that only shields, Brick Buddy, right? So if you get those 3, like I said, like right now you get Dam in like half your runs, right? But if you double the rate, and you're not going to get in every run, but you're going to get it in almost all your runs. So friends that have shield and are good are like automatically premium in Dooley.
A lot of these multicast large items going around now compared to before, but we think they're fun and aspirational, and I'm glad that we'll be seeing more of them. So getting into other item updates, Citrus is food, Claw.
Guys, I don't want to take credit, but I'm going to have to take credit. I did complain about this. Yeah. The moment that I got Citrus in my starting kit, and then first hour I get the damn fluffy monster, and I'm like, guys, you messed up. Who the hell is not eating Citrus, right? So, yeah. Pat myself on the back there.
Is faster than other things
Vegan
now.
Food.
Seems like it got nerfed, but it actually is a buff. Everything else is slower. Coconut is food. Eagle Talisman enchantments are fixed. Fang is going to be pretty fast. We're going to have this be at 3 seconds.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it was always meant to be kind of like the fastest little neutral weapon in early prototype.
Guys, you're like, 3 seconds. Guys, Katana is going to be 3 seconds. This is twice as good as Katana. Yeah, the new strat is going to be make a build that can kill the stupid Viper. Because the Viper has 2 fangs. One of them is enchanted, but the other one is now basically a Katana.
It's nice to have the room to go back to that now that we've upped the cooldown on everything. Truffles gains the loot type. So Truffles is a pretty big change. I mentioned how we wanted more things in Pygmalion that let him affect the value of his other items. And we are changing Truffles to a token item. We're going to be replacing it with a different item in a set, but we're going to change Truffles to a loot item, basically. And it'll work like spare change works, but when you sell it, instead of giving you money, it'll increase the value of your leftmost item instead. And so this will let you up the value of your buildings. You can try to find a bunch of truffles as Pygmalion. There's going to be items he has that spawn more truffles. You can up the value of your truffle to then up the value of another item when you sell it, which kind of doubles up on the value gain part. So yeah, all in all, a lot of creative, powerful ways to use truffles. You're going to be seeing a lot more of them, and it's not going to be its own standalone item like it was before. It's going to.
So when I was talking about truffles and cascading value with the redesigned deed, I forget what the new name is. You guys were saying that don't tell him truffles nerfed. How is this a nerf? Pig literally gets the most loot items, and it's not nerfed. Loot items, because they're often generated, they don't combine. So if you have 2 truffles, which is not going to be that insane, you can buff up both truffles like the entire game. And then when you get a property that scales off of value later, you can convert all of that value into it immediately. That's crazy. Like if the acquisition of loot-typed items isn't changing, this actually is a buff for truffles. Because any given loot, I feel like I get in a run more often than the actual truffles item when I play Pig.
Going to be, a token item, more like a spare change and such. All right, skill updates. Alacrity and Flurry of Blows were bugged. Red Envelope played pretty differently from other skills in that it's basically a spell that just gives you a bunch of money right away.
Yeah.
It wasn't exactly a skill. It had some it keeps having like weird interactions when we...
You don't get gold when you sell truffles. It's just a value conversion. Okay? I mean, okay, I guess it is nerfed in that end. But in terms of stacking items that stack with value, that is a buff.
Deal random skills. There's certain ways that we do that where this doesn't feel appropriate. Like, get a random gold skill and you're getting like a gold red envelope. Like that doesn't play very naturally. So with kits, you'd see this. I
didn't like the envelope thing.
Not that we have kits anymore, but there's going to be ongoing issues with a skill that works this way, and so we're reworking red envelope. All right. Honed Arsenal. Your items have more crit chance for each weapon you have.
That one was pretty bad.
A bit of a buff. Let's get into monster updates. All right, Yurdan is spawning, I guess. I have not looked at this guy's build yet, so this is I don't know. All of this feels weird to me. This monster existing even, but whatever.
I've definitely seen him lots of times. Oh, apparently the truffles. Okay, whatever. We'll see the truffles when they're out. We'll see. Yeah, I was seeing the encounter quite a bit. You've never seen him? Oh, that's weird.
We'll move on. You guys can beat up on fake Raynad. That's fine. Fixed an issue where the Draconic Rage skill was not enabled for Dragon. Great. Dragon's working. Okay. Kyber Commander, new Day 5 monster. Counter-Strike skill. The first 5 times your enemy uses a weapon, charge one of your items 1 second.
This skill was already in the game from the monster skill pool. I've had this. It's pretty good.
Super powerful. Yeah, a lot of monsters coming in this patch. A little handful. I say a lot. A small handful. I'm excited to see the Bazaar grow, to get richer with more encounters.
So a skill like Counter-Strike, it's kind of like Bonk. It's kind of like the Alacrity and whatever. Those skills are definitely super powerful, but when they're upping the cooldown of items by 1, they're suddenly a lot less powerful. They're really only powerful for crap like Double Barrel again, basically. Unfortunately.
You guys will see a bigger and bigger variety of stuff in there over time, so it's cool to see it materialize. We've got Scoville, a new burn enemy. He's I like the design of this guy a lot. He's a cool character. I hope you guys like him too. He's got a bunch of jewels items and stuff. Skillet, black pepper, hot sauce.
And basically, he's got the jewels, which is an unreleased hero, all her burn items. I actually think her burn kit is pretty weak. But I guess I also haven't played against it like full on. Maybe it's one of those things where you hit like a critical level of synergy, so give him the benefit of the doubt. We'll see.
A bunch of jewels items. Well, that's pretty much it for the updates, I guess, huh? I didn't know it stopped after the monsters. I thought we were going to keep going. I know this is a shorter patch notes list than we've had before, but the impact of these changes is huge. We're about to have a whole host of new players in the Bazaar, and I hope that some of the systems we put in make their experience better, more fun, more comfortable. Thank you all, as always, for...
Guys, we're going to destroy them. We're going to crush the noobs. Okay, we're gonna take their ranked tickets and make sure they get 0 wins. All right.
Playing the game, for talking about the game, for sharing it with your friends, for just for hanging out and for following the project. It's awesome to see so many folks having fun, and I hope that even more of you will when the game becomes free tomorrow. More importantly, I hope the servers hold up. It's probably going to be a rough couple days, but we'll see. Either way, thank you as always for joining me this week for another Patch Notes video. I will see you back in a couple weeks with another video. And until next time, enjoy your time in the Bazaar.
Alright, it's a very good video. There you go. We'll link that in the description. We're gonna post this on YouTube probably. So yeah, like he said, it's not like a huge list of changes, but they are going to be really impactful. I think the game is going to play very differently. Obviously, there's some knowledge that carries over. For like maybe almost a couple months now, they've had bi-weekly patches, and they said we should expect another one in 2 weeks. I guess he was talking about a patch notes review video. But yeah, it seems like that's kind of their update framework. Honestly, it's pretty awesome. I feel like every 2 weeks I have to relearn pretty significant parts about the game. And in my opinion, that's the best part of any game. So I really like their aggressive update cycle. One thing about the open beta tomorrow, I feel they didn't market it very well, but I also think that might be deliberate. Also, yes, it is open beta from closed beta. It's not like the launch, but nevertheless, yeah. Fort buffed. Look at the snowmobile. Excited for the noobs tomorrow. Unfortunately, have a job. Don't worry, the noobs will still be hooked in the later evening. Yeah, people will treat it as like in my opinion, this effectively is a launch. It's kind of how I see it. It's like the first time anyone that really wants to play can play. Obviously something like a $30 access pass to a closed beta, that doesn't stop me from playing a game that I like, but it absolutely stops some people from playing a game that they like or are interested in. Absolutely. So, if the servers work.